Hey everyone, Meg here with our prayer practice for the day. I am going to adapt something typically used for lyric writing or songwriting, a practice called object writing, which is exactly what it sounds like. You are going to pick an object and write about it. So you'll set a timer. The kind of general practice of this is 10 minutes, but you can do shorter than that if that's all you have. But set a timer, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. And you're just going to write stream of consciousness about an object. So you can pick an object. What object will you choose? Could be a single object like a candle or a chocolate bar or bread baking in the oven. Could be like a space, like a room or an outdoor space that you remember or a place, something like that. And if you've done this before, or if you just like to go more abstract, you could write about a concept or a verb, like woodworking or singing or whatever works for you. So pick an object, something that inspires you or not. It can just be like the table. I mean, anything. And the key to object writing is to use all of your senses. So what do you hear? Is the object heavy in your hands or light? Can you taste anything? Those are the kind of questions you're responding to as you write. I think this can help us pray because any symbol, even a really familiar one, takes on a much deeper meaning when you use all of your senses to focus on it. So I like to write the senses at the top of my page and then keep coming back to them as you write. So you've got the 5 senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. And then object writing also refers to 2 other senses. One is the organic sense, which is, I'm reading, the awareness of inner bodily functions such as your pulse, breathing, heartbeat, muscle tension, etc. And the kinesthetic sense, which is all about connection between your sense and the world around you, like car sickness, or if you're rolling down a hill or you're on a roller coaster and the world is spinning with you, that kind of vertigo feeling. That's the kinesthetic sense. So if you want to write those 7 senses, or just the 5, whatever works for you, at the top of your page, then you can kind of keep referring to them as you write. And the last thing, but an important one, I said this, but don't get worried about good grammar or writing with complete sentences. This isn't supposed to be beautiful poetry. This is stream of consciousness. So just put down whatever comes to mind and let it say what it will to you. Okay, so set your timer, pick your word, grab a blank piece of paper or a blank document. I like to type mine because I can type more and get started. So I'll be back in a second after I've done this practice. So we're back. Hopefully you had a chance to do some object writing. I'm going to tell you about my word, what I chose. I intentionally didn't tell you beforehand, so you would pick whatever works for you, and tell you about a little of what I learned from mine. Maybe can help you parse out some of what you learned from yours. So the word I chose was river. I was thinking about the passage from the sermon this week, which is about Jesus' baptism. So I thought river would be a good one to do. And I'm just going through and looking at words that stood out to me or phrases, little kind of messages that stood out along the way. You can look up certain words in like a Bible dictionary, see where those are talked about in the Bible. You can also just carry the words and images with you throughout the day. So even if they don't really mean anything to you right now, if you kind of continue to think about them, you can see where God might be showing you some of those images, where they might pop up again and again. Object lessons are also really a good way to work with kids on this. If it's kind of a confusing or hard concept, you can do some object writing about it. How does it feel? What does it sound like? What does it taste like? To help anyone understand any complicated concepts. Jesus did this when he used parables. So he was kind of taking a symbol and applying it to a concept that he wanted to teach us about. So a lot of really cool ways to use this. I in my river writing, which I'm pulling back up, one thing that stood out to me was I was thinking about a leaf like flowing down a river, and just thought about the idea that the river carries anything that's light, that's kind of buoyant, and but if I stepped in, I would think it wouldn't carry me. But maybe if I let go of some of the weight, if I became lighter, if I kind of gave some of my concerns to God, or gave up some of the things I'm worried about, then I could be carried by the river in that same way. So that's one little nugget lesson from mine. And hopefully, yeah, even if there's just kind of random words, you could ask God, like, what are you saying? What's that about? Or you can also turn to scripture. So that's a little on object writing. Hope you enjoyed it. And maybe you could use this as a prayer practice in the future. Or if you want to get your creative juices flowing, it's also a great way to just think of some different ways of looking at the world. It's a great way to start the day, even if you're not kind of intentionally using it as prayer. So that's all I got.